Welcome if you new, forgiving your lateness. You streaming in your car, then let it ride. If you on the YouTube, like the video, subscribe. You are now tuned in to the TSP. You are now tuned in to the You are now tuned in. You are now tuned in to the TSP.
Yes, sir. TSP episode 204. I'm your host, Bobby Hall, and with me, as always, you know who it is. It's Dylan the Savage. D'Lo. Another little break. We're back again. Little holiday break. I hope everyone had a great Easter. Mine was pretty solid. How are things at the Savage homestead? I guess was this week 2 into the new setup? Maybe week 3.
I hope it's week 3. I think it might be week 2 though. It's just a long grind, a long ways to go, brother. But it was all right. It was all right, decent. The kiddos were up north with the grandma to celebrate Easter. I met them halfway there in Lima at a Cracker Barrel. We had an Easter breakfast. Yes, the Cracker Barrel is open on the holiday, so I had some good food there. They have like these pancakes. They're fruity pebble pancakes. Daughters love them. I don't know if I would.
Sure.
Maybe as a kid I would, but
That'd be a lot. Yeah.
I'm at the doorstep of 30 now, Bobby, and that's just not my style anymore. Just give me the classic buttermilk, and I'm good. So it's getting old fast, unfortunately.
Okay,
But
man.
you know how it is, man. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. Mom made me a ham to take home. Some that and some, what do they call them? Potato skin or cheesy potato scallops. Hit the
There
spot.
you go. Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it was good. It was decent. Can't complain. How about yourself, Bobby?
Easter was solid, man. Kids got, multiple baskets from aunts, uncles, grandparents. The Easter bunny came here. Um, I went to my aunt and uncle's, and they kind of pivoted from the traditional Easter menu. We went with pulled pork, barbecue chicken, stuff like that. Mac and cheese, baked beans. It was great. Um, I was able to have 'cause I've been talking about it. I was able to have a few of my mom's chocolate chip cookies, the greatest in the entire world. First time in a year and a half, so I was in heaven, man.
You're just cut
Um,
loose now, man.
yeah, yeah. It was awesome, but it was nice to get with the family a little bit. Weather wasn't too bad. It wasn't great. I think it was in like the 50s. Um, but yeah, it was cool. And then last week it was WrestleMania weekend, so you mix all that in. It was a hell of a Sunday. I think Cavs game 1 was that Sunday too. So
I think you're right. And they're
it
just
was
steamrolling the Heat.
it was a Sunday of all Sundays for your boy. So great time. But happy to be back on this show. We got a loaded one, D'Lo. We got kind of a guest and a half, I guess you'd say. We got a longtime friend of mine that I'm excited to bring on, and for the first time here in a little bit. But if you want to, we're gonna do a little call in with our guy, longtime big time supporter, multi-time guest, Alex A.D. Davis, because he just dropped a children's book, man. I got it at the house. Asked him to sign it. He obliged, so I got a signed copy. I feel special about it, man. But we're kind of booked out through the end of season 7 here. So I told him, we'll do a call in.
Hello.
AD.
Yo, what it do?
Hey, man, I was just doing a little intro, man. But how we doing, man?
my
How we
bad.
doing? No, you're good.
My phone number. I didn't know the protocol. My apologies.
No, I didn't know that he was gonna boot you right up. But basically, I was just letting the people know, man. You just dropped a new kids book, and it's one that I purchased. As soon as I seen it was available, and I asked to get a signed copy, which you obliged, man. I feel feel special, man, because I think you got something here.
Well, first of all, Bob, you are special, and everybody's special. We're all special.
Okay.
I was trying something. It didn't work. I couldn't be serious enough. But yeah, no, you are special. We're all everybody's special. So thank you. No, it means a lot. I haven't had my caffeine this morning, so bear with me. No, man. Yeah, it's been a really good process, a fun process, a journey for sure. So I can hear the microwave going off in the background. But Yeah, Move With Melo. And the idea was conceived in 2018. I actually wrote it in 2020. Reached out to my illustrator in 2022, and then started the printing process and the copyright process summer of 24, and then was able to get it published, or able to get the printed copies back here this past March. And so now it's go time, and got the hard copies. And and I'm grateful to everyone who has supported and purchased a copy. It's a low number right now, but my plans are to heighten it as time goes on. But currently, 5% of all proceeds go to the National Canine Cancer Foundation. Melo passed away from cancer, and so I'm like, how can I, not do this in vain, and try to make sure I'm giving back. And started this 5%, and then hopefully next round go up to the 10, and just see where we can go from there, and hopefully just support that cause. I'm not a good signature person, Bob, so I don't know how it looks, or what on a scale of 0 to 10. But this is definitely some practice. I appreciate you even asking. That means the world, knowing that you and Jackson, you guys do things, and have a great father-son bond. Like, okay, this is it hits different when a parent, or and specifically in our case a dad, reaches out for it, and like, okay, cool, I already know that there's going to be some use here. And so no, I appreciate it, man. It means the world.
Yeah, I love it, man. And shout out to your illustrator too, because the illustrations of this book are incredible. I love it.
Jay Burke is I'm so happy to hear that he's a god of the graphic design world. Known him since BG days, and we've done worked on things together. And by worked on things, I've had ideas, and I reached out to him to make these ideas happen. And he's made, whether it's a logo, a graphic, a clothing design, a video intro, you name it. This guy is a visualizer machine. I'm like, well, let me see if he'd be interested in this, because I'm comfortable with him. He's professional. I know we correspond well. When you're just comfortable with somebody, okay, cool, this makes sense. And sure enough, he was down to take on the job, and I was very grateful, because then I knew I could be confident and calm in that process, and I wasn't worried about how long it took or whatever, because I knew that it was in the right hands. And of course he delivered. So in the clutch. So yeah, no, Jared Burke is that guy, and I'll forever, stand by that. Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of hit it with a little bit of pun, I feel like it elevated the book. You know what I mean?
Come on, no, for sure. He actually did the first elevated living logo
There
back
it
in
is.
2011. Yeah, no. So there's a lot of connection with Jared Burke, and he's a very special individual. Individual.
It came out great, man. I love it. I told you, man. I'm extremely proud of you, man. As a friend, as a supporter, this is cool. A lot of people say they'll do things and then get to the first step and kind of see, okay, it's not just going to be done after step 1. You got to do step 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then they're like, yeah,
keep going.
forget
For
that.
sure.
You know what I mean? And you made it happen.
No.
And it's awesome that you kind of involved your son in the publishing company. You know what I mean? That'd be cool as he gets older to kind of collaborate with him on some stuff. And it's a cool thing, man. And like I said, yeah, there's even more of a reason to buy it. Not only is it a cool book to read with the kids, cool looking book, proceeds go towards a great cause too. So it's all around
for
an
sure.
awesome thing, man.
I think about, and both of you guys will be able to relate to this. But just the other, like the big children's authors, right? You got the Eric Carls, the Bill Martins, you got the Sandra Boyntons, you got the Jack Ezra Keats, and they're just, these are legends, right? And so as when Miles was at 0 to 3, 0 to 4, and we're reading a lot of those classic children's books. I'm like, hang on, I got a lot of ideas that would work for this. And I already had the first one. It was just a matter of putting it into action. But I'm like, okay, if they found passion, happiness and fruit through their children's book writing or illustration, like, this might be a field I could enjoy. But the passion really started, through those, first 2 to 3 years of his life, when that was like a big source of entertainment for him, So yeah, parenthood brings so many gems that we don't know are going to come until they do.
I got a couple more things. We'll let you get back to your Sunday, but the
Sure.
scheme in this. I know Alex A.D. Davis wrote this, but some of the scheme in here was A. Davis involved in some of the writing of this book.
Oh, you got jokes, Bob.
I'm just.
I
You wear a
mean,
lot of
yeah,
hats.
no, for sure. No, it's I mean, as a rhymer yourself, it's just it's about figuring out, having fun, right? And so,
Yeah.
so I can have fun writing about this. I can have fun writing about my lifestyle, or drinking tea, sipping juice, dropping my kid off at school, going to practice, work, whatever, right? And so the rhymes were not difficult, as when you read it, it's very simple, right? But it was just a matter of thinking about exactly what Melo does, or did, and his daily routine. And so I see him every day, so I know. But I'm like, let me look at old pictures just to see other things that remind me of him, and maybe certain occasions or whatever. And so as I reference those old, that old catalog of pictures, I'm like, oh, okay, this is easier. It brings different wordplay, or not even wordplay, but different verbiage, I would say, just to properly articulate and help visualize or paint the picture for what he would do on a daily basis. Dog loved food, so yeah, we're going to be heavy in the kitchen. Definitely getting snacks. Dog loved to be out in the sun, so yeah, he's definitely going to be on the patio sunbathing. And as I sent Jay Burke these photos, and I started to see some of the stuff that he was working on as he would send it back, as he was working on it, I'm like, okay, he really captured what I was trying to go for here, as far as those moments. And I think sending him those pictures really assisted with the graphics that he delivered.
Yeah, and to just keep kind of crediting, your guy here, the illustrator. A lot of people these days are leaning towards the AI side of things, because it's basically a couple of clicks and boom, you got what you need. I fully respect that you sent your guy pictures and stuff, and he kind of brought it to life in a children's book form, man. It's pretty cool. It stands
No,
out
for
from
sure.
like a lot of books.
No, yeah, that's part of the. I mean, you can have a simple children's book, and it doesn't have to be the crazy, have the crazy artistry. But I think when I read Rainbow Fish, like, or read Elmer, right, like, holy cow, like, the art is fantastic. The story is great, right, but it wouldn't be the same without the art. So I'm like, no, I gotta make this one pop for sure. Look, I wish I was a graphic designer, because these illustrators, they get paid, and so if anyone's out there, younger individual or older individual, and has a knack for Illustrator or Photoshop, or just wants to design, like, man, like, because there's also people that's willing to pay for that art, people like myself, and people with bigger bags too, or Scholastic, Penguin House, Random Penguin House, all these publishers, I'm sure they're always looking for illustrators. So I would encourage, and I don't have that urge, nor do I have that aspect of creativity or patience. But for those that do, I would definitely urge them to reach out, because yeah, man, it's a lot of money out there for sure.
Dylan, before I fire off my closing question, you got anything for our boy here?
Yeah, AD. First and foremost, professionally on my end, I completely didn't know that it was going to throw you right into the podcast like that. So I apologize for kind of just throwing it right to the fire on live. Live podcast.
That's okay. No,
I had my stuff muted, and I heard the ringing, and I thought I was the only one hearing the ringing. And then Bobby answered the call, and I was like, "Oh shit, you're live on the podcast." So I did not know. For future reference in the calls, this is like probably the third or fourth call we ever took on the podcast since we've had this. So I know now for future reference. But
well, I think, yeah, no, you don't have to. I love it. I think it's great, because it shows individuals, or or shows and listens to individuals, or hears them, that this is a completely live show, as opposed to a dead one.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and you guys are doing it, so I think it's a beautiful thing that happened, for sure.
alive and somewhat well. So we are.
Sure.
It caught the ring and everything, so I'm sure that will be in the podcast as well. But
I love
congratulations
it.
to you and the children's book, man. It's definitely inspirational. Like Bobby said, and I couldn't say it better. It's like people do get into these things where they say they're going to do something, and they find out how tall the mountain really is to climb. And my brother, you made it to the peak, and I hope the best for you and the copies, and then going to a good cause and K9 and everything, dude. It's a good thing you're doing.
You're really good with your words. I like that. Find out how tall the mountain is. No, for sure. I love that. No, so thank you. I appreciate it, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, I'll leave you with this. What's on the horizon for you guys over there for the publishing? I mean, are you going to keep it short form books? Would you ever move into maybe small chapter books? And then also we got to definitely make sure you tell the people how they can purchase the book, because we got to get some copies out there, man.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Look, I've got a lot written. Got a couple documents, just different stories. A lot of children's books, or scripts, I should say. The biggest part is the illustrations, which are the more costly thing. Coming up with the idea and putting it in is just time. But the goal of Davis and Davis Publishing is to publish many different titles. And certain, like the Move With Melo, I've got 3 other Move With Melos written already. So make that into a series. What I've found as I've studied the industry is a lot of books, like for one in particular is the Little Blue Truck. But they've got a Halloween Little Blue Truck. They've got a Valentine's Day Little Blue Truck, right? And so they're able to continue building on that brand by adding more into the series. So that's definitely a goal of mine. And then really, this might sound far-fetched, but I hear a lot of people talk about generational wealth and things like that. And while I'm 34, so I'm a little late to starting, but I'm like, okay, this might be, if I can maneuver this right and promote it enough and get the brand big enough, then this could be something that could carry on for the next Davis generation and the next Davis generation. And the art will live on, much like Eric Carle, who didn't pass too long ago. Brown Bear is still going to be a hit for ever to come, right? It's a classic. It's still getting purchased. So that's really the goal, is to continue publishing and just get it up there. And hopefully each time I can find a good cause to also donate part of the portions to, regardless of what the actual title is or behind it. But as far as where to purchase the book right now, davisanddavispublishing.com. That's DAVISANDDAVIS publishing.com. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Davis and Davis Publishing. And all sales are going through the website. And it's been a fun process. As far as actually making it live this past month or so, a really fun process, and you really just see all the love. And that's what means the most. So I'm grateful to individuals like you for allowing me to talk about it and provide a platform to speak on it. I'm very grateful to you, Bob, for making the purchase. Then it's little things too. When you ask me to sign, I'm like, oh, that's hard. I've never been asked to sign a damn thing in my life. Right?
I have the only signed copy in existence as of now, right?
There have been some signed. There have been you started the way.
Right.
I'll say that.
All right.
Yeah, no, for sure. It started with you. But then some other individuals asked, and as because you were one of the first purchasers, probably like the first 3. So there have been a few more afterwards that have asked, but you definitely were the first one to ask for.
We see the vision, man. We see where this is going. So having a signed copy, years from now, I'll be like, yeah, I got the author. I'm friends with this famous author, and he signed one of the copies of his first book. So
no, for sure. Yeah, man. So no, that means a lot, man. It means a lot.
You supported us. You support everyone, man. Sav, all these guys. You're always putting, basically a lot of your social medias is just other people's content that you're pushing, including ours. So
it's not difficult to support, man. Not at all.
Exactly. and I have kids, so this is a perfect thing. I mean, no matter what, I'll support anything you do, but obviously it adds even more so that I got a book that my 7-year-old over here, 6-year-old can read, and it's something that you can read over and over again because it's one of those kind of books. So, but yeah, we had to bring you on. And we always try to once a season or so to see what you got going on, because like I said, you wear a lot of hats, man, and you do everything very well. And we're always rooting for you over here at TSP for sure. And I'm excited for what's next.
My dogs. Real quick before we get off, I just wanted to,
Mhm.
Dylan, I know you're on a new venture as you've done before, I think, but your wife is deployed right now.
Yes, she is.
Okay, well, shout out to you, man, for holding down the fort, man. That's I know it just took a turn, but I wanted to, shout out to you and salute to you for holding down the fort and doing big dad things.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I appreciate the outlet, the platform, and you guys keep talking shop. Ha!
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. I'll scream at you.
Take care,
Yep.
man.
See you, man.
Love you. Peace.
And there he is. Always a blast talking to that guy. He's incredible, man. I love Alex. Known him for probably 15 years now, and he's a hell of a father. And it's just cool that he started a publishing company for him and his son. And I hope it takes off. Dylan, like I said, I think that'd be a perfect thing for you to fire off, get a purchase for you and the girls. I think they'll get a kick out of it. And just like I said, the illustrations are really like nothing I've ever seen before. I really like it. It really popped out to me. It's kind of like it's like a Dr. Seuss-esque book, very short. You know what I mean? Like a couple sentences each page as you go through, the day with Melo there. And it's awesome that he was able to kind of pay tribute, to his longtime friend there, Melo, the dog, and then to also donate, some of the proceeds to I think it was canine cancer. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it seems
man.
like it benefits all around. It really does touch all the bases there. A great thing he's doing. I need to get my own signed copy as well for sure. And what I would like to do is, and wonder if it's even possible, if I can buy an extra copy and then donate to my daughter's school and their library to get it within the mix. Because I know they're able to, they have library day and they can go in there and they can pick their book and they keep it for like the week or whatever and return it. So maybe another kid out there takes that book and finds it, and who knows? Maybe the next time at a book fair, I'll see a stack of them, of Alex Davis collection, or maybe he has his own shelf one day. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm hoping
that'd
the
be
best
cool,
for him.
man. And then like you said, you'll be able to tell people, I was friends with this guy. He's been on my show a few times. I have a signed copy of his first book, all kinds of stuff, man. But I think the sky's the limit, and
100%.
he's already got all this stuff, basically written out. He just got to kind of get it in motion, and kind of get the the funds in place for the illustrations, and we'll see some more added to the mix there. So I'm excited, man.
And then the shout out for me, just hell of a guy, man. Just a hell of a guy. We like to call those HOAs. Hell of a human. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm glad you explained that, because on the surface, calling somebody
maybe that acronym doesn't really work.
Yeah, maybe not. But nonetheless, man, he's the most supportive person I know. Like I said, you wouldn't even know, looking at his social medias, you wouldn't even know that's his social media, because you're going to see our stuff, Sav, stuff he's doing down at the University of Findlay, stuff, all that stuff. So he's just very supportive. Always love to return the favor. And I'm glad we got to bring him on, man, to plug that. So DavisandDavisPublishing.com. Get a copy. I think it's like $20, and that includes shipping and everything, and everything arrived within I think 2 days, and it's awesome. So definitely consider getting a copy. But we'll move on. Like I said, we got a chock full show, and we'll keep it moving from one great person to another here. I have a longtime friend of mine on today, a family friend. And then at one point, her mother dated the uncle of one of my best friends, so that kind of kept us connected. And then even beyond that, like the college years, When our groups of friends were a little more rambunctious and used to hit the town and stuff, that kind of kept us in touch. And even since then, as we've kind of grown apart and started our own lives and stuff, we definitely have stayed in touch here and there. And I'm excited to do some catching up today and then learn some more of what she's been up to, because she's a lawyer. This is our first ever lawyer on the show. TSP 204 episodes, so another little milestone for us to check off along the way here. But for episode 204, Dylan, we have today Bre Hitchen with us today. Bre, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. It's
Thank
great
you.
to do some catching up with you, and thanks for some of your time. How you
Of
doing?
course. Great. It's great to be on. This is exciting.
Love to have you.
Thank you. And we also appreciate you kind of sitting in the wings there while we talk to our buddy Alex there.
I bought a book.
I wanted to make sure to plug what was going on, so we want to do that at the top of the show. But we got history, and you're doing some big things these days. And I reached out, I don't know, maybe like a month or so ago, and I said I think you'd be a great guest for the show, which you sort of disagreed. And I still think you're wrong about that, but
We'll see. Yet to be seen.
You do some great. I guess that's fair, but I think you'll be good. But we've known each other for a long ass time at this point. I mean, you've even been to some of my early birthday parties, or maybe it's a birthday party.
It was
at Spaghetti Warehouse. Dylan, you've been to Spaghetti Warehouse, haven't you, back in the day?
A handful of times, man. I even sat in the, what do they have? Is it like a
trolley
car? Yeah, the trolley. 100%.
Actually, she had a picture of me, I think, in that trolley. It had to have been maybe 8, 7.
Yeah.
That's like for special occasions, right? Like you can reserve that spot.
People rent it for like wedding receptions and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Somebody must. I don't know. I don't think I would have picked Spaghetti Warehouse at 8 years old. So I'm gonna assume my parents probably took the reins on that. But
I feel like it might have been for Haley, maybe.
Oh, maybe that too. That could be also. That may, yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. We definitely have some history, but I guess to jump to fast forward to today, you're a lawyer.
I am.
Which you may not think is the most interesting thing, but from our standpoint, I think it is, just because I know some of what the road is to get there, and that's kind of what I want to get into. But I guess because growing up and even through the college times, I didn't even know that was an interest you had. When did you decide I want to get into the legal field?
This is one of my favorite things, but I get to blame that on Mr. Wilker. Throwback to Lake. I took a business law class with Wilker, and it really struck me as wow, this is cool. We learned a lot more than about just business law. Looking back, he was teaching us about torts and just civil law in general. And he brought in Mark Tantari, the Tantari's dad, and I was like, this seems so cool. And I knew nothing. At that point, I thought you either worked for the government or you had your own law firm. I didn't know. That's probably how much I knew until I went to law school. But and then from there, I joined this program through the Wood County courthouse called Teen Court, where teens are literally the prosecutor, defense attorney. They sit on the jury, or they're the bailiff, and you represent or prosecute nonviolent first-time juvenile offenders who are going through this diversion program. And I was like, this is awesome. And so I did that for...
that's for real cases?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Wood County started doing it because I don't know if it was a county in Ohio or another program did it. So they did it as a juvenile diversion program where we can't give these, well, mind you, they're nonviolent first time, but we couldn't give those kids jail time. We could make them tour the juvenile detention center to be kind of like a Scared Straight type of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
But we really could give them volunteer hours, write an apology letter, restitution, stuff like that. We had a lot of petty thefts, and one of them was really interesting. It was a trespass on Perrysburg High School's football field, stuff like that. And we got to kind of like either represent them, like talk to them, their parents, be the prosecutor and be like, this is why this is bad. And then a prosecutor was the judge. And so that was like my first exposure really after business law class. And yeah, that was in junior and senior year of high school.
Before we go on, speaking of Wilker, we actually had Tanzel on a few weeks ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, which was pretty cool because I mean he was on that Fox
I
Game
know. I
show,
watched
which
the
was
whole
incredible.
thing.
And they just announced that he's coming back to Lake as the elementary principal.
I saw
which
that
is
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
But he said on the show, which I thought was funny, that anytime we had like a school closing for like weather or anything, they would all like it was like him and like 4 or 5 other teachers would meet up at Wilker's and they'd play poker all day.
That makes
And I
sense.
was like, man, to be a fly on the wall for that. But
I got to drink with him and Wilker at Casey Witt's wedding back in
okay.
2020.
Nice.
And it was Bogsy. It was awesome. It was a great time. And my mom came.
Yeah, that had been incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So did he? But prior to that, did he know he was? I guess the reason behind you getting into the legal field, or did you tell him that?
Oh, Wilker knows.
Okay.
Wilker's like my
Good.
dad. He was like my dad, man. He best guy I think in the world. Like I think the world of him. I actually went back and talked to his class, his business law class, twice, while I was in Cleveland. And so he had me in to just talk about what it was like to go from being in that class to being where I am now. And not even now, it was really, 4 or 5 years ago, but, it was really cool. And actually after that wedding, Bogsy emailed me. He found my work email and he emailed me and he goes, "Hey, I am like really moved by the pro bono work you were telling us about. I think it's so cool. I'm so proud of you." And I was like, I printed that. That was like the coolest email.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Those guys are great.
Yeah.
I played for. I mean, I had Wilker as a teacher, and then I played for him too in football, and he's the best. He's one of the scariest individuals on the planet Earth at times, but overall, he's just he's one of those people that like. I don't remember all of my teachers, but you definitely remember your Wilkers, Tanzas, Boggs, all those kind of guys. They're the best. So that's great.
Always afraid to disappoint him. I remember he told me, he's like, "Don't get tattoos. Like, don't get any tattoos." And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And I had 2 already. So I just never wanted him to know that. So I just never told him that I was disappointing him actively.
So obviously, was this a big factor in where you went to college? Like, were you kind of pick and choosing like, all right, who's got the best?
I wish I could say it was. It probably would have been smarter at the time. But it was kind of one of those. I knew I didn't want to be a cop, so I didn't want to go do criminal justice as how I picked where I went to undergrad. And you probably don't remember this, but I actually started my freshman year at Wright State and transferred back to Bowling Green.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Yeah, see, most people don't. So yeah, I really didn't. I didn't stay. It wasn't for me. Wright State wasn't like my vibe. And so, yeah, I transferred back to Bowling Green and it worked out perfectly that I got to basically work in Wood County, which is where I did that program. So my first internship was at Wood County Prosecutor's Office, which was really cool to kind of start there. And at that point I had semi-changed my mind on whether I was going to go to law school because undergrad for me, even being a good student, like my first 2 years of college and even my third, I was like, this kind of sucks. Like, this is hard and I'm broke. And I don't know if I want to do 3 more years. And it actually was being at the prosecutor's office when I was telling them I might go be like a probation officer or like kind of change my trajectory. At that point, I had committed to getting a master's degree on top of my undergrad. And shout out to my friend Alyssa, man. She was a new prosecutor at the time. And she looked at me and she said, "You have to do it." She's like, "You're going to let yourself down. Like, you have to do it." So I took the LSAT. I signed up for it, I think that week that she said that. And here I am. So it wasn't always like in the path. It was just Bowling Green worked out really well for me to transfer back to and go to. And I kind of fell into that. But I'm thankful that I did, because that kind of is what led me to going to Toledo for law school. So
you did 4 years BG, and then how many more at Toledo?
technically, I think I actually did 4.5 at BG, because I got a master's degree. Like I've went right through. So I did some classes as an undergrad in the master's program, in the grad program, and then did 3 years at Toledo. I think I had 2 weeks off in between my master's and starting at Toledo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I knew that getting into like the legal field, like it took quite a journey, but to do so, shit, that's almost 20 years of school, I guess, total from from the very beginning through elementary, junior high, high school, college. Wow.
She's aware.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I just never really thought about it like that, but
That is crazy.
It's one less than a couple less than a doctor, though. So I'll hang my hat on that. Didn't
that's
quite
fair.
go as long
Yeah,
as
yeah,
my
that's
other
true.
doctors.
When did you decide you wanted to go into like the healthcare side of it? Because there's a lot of different avenues once you get to that stuff.
I'm not even kidding when I say that when I started at Toledo, I still thought that like the two worlds that existed for being a lawyer were like prosecutor, defense attorney, working for the government, or working like your own shop, like hanging a shingle, having your own. I didn't know that like large corporate firms, like, the equivalent of like a big accounting firm, I did not know that was a thing. But I walked up to a third year student who I kind of emulated, wanted to be. I was really like, she was so smart. She was valedictorian of her class. I remember being like, I'm just going to ask her what she did her second year of law school, like what her internship was. And I walked up and she's like, oh, I worked at Jones Day. Without even skipping a beat, not even knowing what that is, I said, that's what I think I'll do. I'll apply there. And going there is what kind of led me to healthcare, because you try out a bunch of different corporate practices. Like you pick a practice group, like our buddy Matt does labor and employment, and mostly labor. But like you could be a litigator going to court. There's so many different avenues, and healthcare was just the right fit for me based on the firm, because of the cases that you work, the matters that you work, and it just fit with my interest in. I liked criminal stuff, but I didn't want to be a prosecutor, and I like advising and like counseling rather than arguing with people, negotiating. So it just worked out, and I kind of just pursued that after a lot of thought on, do I really want to deal with contracts for the rest of my life? And the answer was no. So
That's fair.
Yeah, like the prosecuting like lawyers or like people because I just watched a documentary about like the Karen Reed case
Oh yeah.
out in Boston, which is like still going on and just crazy. And I couldn't imagine being one of those people, because it gets a little cutthroat, and like people kind of try to swipe you at your feet and your ankles, and it just seems to be overly stressful, which in a job that's probably already 10 out of 10 stressful. So I couldn't even imagine those guys.
I couldn't do it. But criminal stuff is, I love true crime. Like I love when things intersect with crime and like investigation, I'm all in, like very interested, but I could not make my living doing that.
Yeah, that's I don't blame you at all. And one thing too is like, obviously on Instagram, you're not gonna post like, yeah, well, here's year 3 of law school. This is the stuff I'm doing here. You're gonna post like fun shit that you do, and you were able to, and still to this day, you've always been able to keep a pretty moving, social life.
Yeah.
Where did you find the time to do all this?
Oh, I don't sleep a lot. I didn't sleep a lot. No, I think there's like, I've always had like the priority on, I gave up Sundays throughout all of law school, where for the most part, unless there was really something important going on, Sunday I was like in my home office studying, getting ready for the week. that was always something I did. Because then also during law school for actually all 3 years, I was refereeing like 8th grade volleyball on Tuesdays and Thursdays after class just to make some money to go to bar review on Thursdays and buy some beer. But yeah, I've always been someone who I'd rather prioritize like time away from the goal to, I don't know. I think it's the only thing that keeps me going is like being able to have fun. I worked at I don't know if you remember this. I worked at a can factory in undergrad for 2 summers.
I do think I vaguely remember that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was 12-hour shifts and I worked nights. And I remember I would literally try to find time just to go like have lunch with my friends prior to going into work, because I was like, if I don't, like, I will never see anyone. I'll never do anything. Like all I'm going to do is like work and sleep, and I can't live that way. But
Relate.
yeah. So when I went to the firm though, right when I got out of law school, I went to a firm in Cleveland, like I said, Jones Day. And it was harder to find social time. I mean, it's nights, weekends, evenings, holidays. Yeah. All nonstop. Still found time, but like I said, at the cost of sleep. There were some nights where, showing up to work at 8 a.m. was very difficult when I went to bed at 3:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, maybe I missed it, as far as what you do with the healthcare. You represent the hospitals or help represent patients against hospitals?
No, that's a great question. So when I was at the firm, we pretty much represented like corporate entities. So we would represent the large health systems,
Got you.
medical device, med tech, all those things. I'm actually in-house now. Like they call an in-house attorney. So rather than represent a bunch of different people, I am one of the team of attorneys for one company, where you kind of farm your big matters, your $1,000, your millions of dollars expensive litigations, your big deals. You send that stuff out to what I used to be at, like an outside counsel. And I'm like basically what they call a corporate lawyer now. So my client is the company. So my privilege, what I owe my duty to is the corporate entity.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot more 9 to 5. It's a lot more balanced. It's a lot more, it's not as everything's an emergency like it is at the firm. When you're trying to make clients happy, keep people happy, I don't do that as much anymore. So I get to actually have a normal life. Like 9 to 5 is more the norm than it is the exception.
Are you Brienne in the courtroom? Like,
No,
do you
and
have a separate? Okay.
No, that's been the best change from going from firm to in-house. I am Bre, and luckily I don't go to court. So that's the even better part about my job, my area, my specialty is I don't have to go to court. The only time I've ever actually been a part of like large, other than a couple of small things when I was at the firm, but the only time I've ever been a part of court cases where I was like standing up in court doing stuff was when I did a bunch of pro bono work for immigration at the firm. That was the kind of my passion piece where I kind of made time to do that work for quite a while. I even did it after I left. I stayed on for a case to do work for an immigrant that I was really passionate about. She was a great woman and like her case was important to me. So doing that work, but that's really the only time I've ever really had to go to court at all is that stuff.
Just for healthcare, or do you cover other fields as well?
I do what they call like regulatory healthcare. So let's say my company wants to like engage in a contract and they have questions about whether they're allowed to under the law. Like, are we allowed to do this arrangement? Are there any prohibitions on giving away this benefit, on doing this thing? That's what I advise on. So I'll research the law. I do look up the statutes, look up the regulations, the guidance, and I advise on whether that's acceptable and how much. A big part of my job is how much risk is there associated with doing this. But but pretty much healthcare and healthcare adjacent things. So privacy, tech, that kind of stuff. I like to stay away from IP. So Alex mentioned having like trademark and copyright stuff. Hate that. Stay away from that.
That eliminates my next question.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
we probably could have used the lawyer in our first couple seasons, but I mean, we'd be fighting a losing battle because we're going against Disney. So,
and that's a funny point too, because like I have friends who, again, I do healthcare. So when people find out I'm an attorney and they don't know, of course they're like, "Oh, can you help with this lease? Oh, can you help with this like employment dispute?" And like I know enough to be dangerous about like those little things. Like I'm a landlord. I rent out my house in Cleveland. So I have a lease that I wrote, right? I don't have to litigate that. I don't have to fight with anybody about that. But like I had a friend who had a big landlord dispute and I was like, let me just call this guy. Like he doesn't want to talk to a lawyer. Like I can tell you we're not going to court with this guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the bigger thing is people don't realize that like making a phone call prevents going to court sometimes, or like just knowing enough to be dangerous. But I'm certainly not the person to call if you were like in a car accident and someone's suing you. I am calling anyone but me for that.
Okay. So the tides have turned a little bit, but like I was talking to you in pre-show, you know, you're in an extremely male dominated field, and you're not only a woman, you're a young woman at that. So how has that journey been? Did you kind of find any bumps in the road from some middle-aged guy that was just kind of trying to, I don't know, I guess buzz you off just because of who you are and how old you are and stuff like that?
It's interesting. At the firm I was at, they try to be very, you know, women in law, very important. Like they have a women's retention and advancement and in networking group. There was a big focus on like wanting to have women in leadership. So that was always great. And I never saw anything bad from that. It's actually been really interesting to go from being at a firm that tries to be balanced. And obviously it's not, there's a lot more men than women, but my class that came in was very balanced. I actually think we had a couple more women than we had men in my class. But being in house, it tends to be people that are parents or are later in their career that go in house. You don't usually have people that are 5 years, 6 years, 7 years out. I'm 7 years out now, but I was about 4 years out when I left the firm. So I was like only a 4-year attorney, and I don't have kids and I'm not married. And people would go, "How old are you?" Like I would get on a call and they'd be like, "Are you a student? Like, how old are you?" And that was actually the shock for me, was people were, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. No one was like saying like, "I'm not going to trust you because you're, you know," but it was the response of like, "Oh, I'm surprised to be seeing someone so young, seemingly young, say, oh yeah, I'm an attorney." Because a lot of people do picture like old white men as what like they're calling attorney. That's who they're calling. And it's funny at the firm. It's something that I feel like people get uncomfortable about, but for me, it's a reality that I was really proud of at the end. I actually was sexually harassed by a guy at the firm who was not a 50-year-old, whatever. He was in his 30s in my class. And the firm, when I told them the story a day later, that guy no longer works there. He didn't work there the next business day.
That's awesome.
And that's a huge thing. Like it's such, you know, you would think that attorneys are the ones that, like, should not be engaging in sexual harassment. Like we know the law, right? But yeah, so like to me, I was extremely proud of the response and the way it was handled. And at first I was like not sure what to do about it because it's uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean, it happens everywhere. It happens all the time, unfortunately. And it's just a reality that I think women face. And a lot of women, and even in myself, when it happened, I was like, this is a big thing to be disclosing. It's a big deal. This is a person with a job and a family, but what they did to me is not okay. And so, yeah, like that's just a part of it. And it was cool to be able to, at the end of it, say, like, my employer, the people I, work for, like, they did right by me in saying, like, that's not acceptable. So
It's good on you that you did it too, because I'm sure there's some people that were in your position that are probably like,
should have shut your
let it
mouth.
slip. Yeah, and
Yep.
maybe just didn't say anything, and then it just kind of doubled, tripled, and they're just like, damn, I should have said something. They never did. So yeah, guy fucked with the wrong one, apparently.
I'm sure he regrets that to this day.
Good. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully he didn't get a job after that, but who knows?
No comment.
I was okay. I wondered about that. I wasn't sure how to phrase that question. I just want to come on and be like, yeah, so you just get harassed all the time. So I'm glad
No, yeah.
it got brought up organically, but I wondered about that too. We got a business suit game? What are we doing here?
I have a
I gotta
really good suit and really
Okay.
good like dress collection. It has been cut down to about a third of what it used to be because I actually work fully remote now.
Yeah,
So
you don't go in the courtroom, right?
yeah, so I live in downtown Toledo. I work from my house. And the only time I'm really putting on suits or dresses, because like my dress jacket, that's what I like to think about is 2 things rather than 3. So one dress, one suit, or one jacket, that's it. Is really when I go to like meetings with legislators and regulators. Like I was in Indy for that about a month ago. So I break it out maybe like once a quarter. And then otherwise I'm pretty sweatpants, and I wear like quarter zips a lot because it's here up. So
Yeah, you're set then. You're good.
yeah.
Yeah, because you were in Cleveland for a while.
Yeah.
And you work remote, so what made you want to move back home, I guess, essentially?
I wish this answer was like way cooler, but I actually went to law school with my boyfriend Ben, and we sort of reconnected when I was remote, and he lives here, he works here, and his job is here and mine's obviously not. And grandparents are here, mom's here. And when push came to shove, it was kind of like, all right, if we're going to actually have a relationship, like it's hard to do it from Cleveland, an hour, 45 minutes all the time. And so we talked about it and moved in together, and I came back, admittedly very quickly after we started dating. I think I kind of made the half move 6 months in. And then I started renting my house about a year in, and got rid of a lot of stuff, moved my cat here, and been here ever since. We're going on 3 years in July. So
Wow. All right. So
3 years living here. So yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, downtown Toledo's awesome. You know what I mean?
It's funny. I don't feel like I ever really got to know downtown because living in like being from Walridge Lake, like it's not like I was frequenting downtown.
Yeah.
And not even Toledo really. Like, I was hanging out in like Oregon and Perrysburg, like Genoa, like not coming downtown. And now living here, it does feel like I live, like it is a different city than I grew up in,
Yeah.
And the restaurants down here, the entertainment, it's awesome. Like I think it's so fun. We live inside the Dora, so like grab a drink and walk around downtown, and go grab Hannon's for dinner, just go sit at the bar sometimes. Like Ben travels a lot for college basketball, so if I don't get to go, I just go sit at the bar at Hannon's and order dinner and hang out with the people that work there that I'm basically like, they're my friends. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I want to get into more of that too, but before, what are your long-term goals with this field?
With the field, I really like where I'm at. I really like what I'm doing. I have a normal, balanced career, so I really do want to stay in house. I don't have like massive aspirations to be like the head lawyer at a company. Like a lot of people want to go be the general counsel. like my boss's boss is the general counsel. It's not really my thing, not really what I want to do. I don't really want to lead a large team. My skill set is clock in, do my job, and not have to be on call at 10 p.m. or on weekends. And that's where I feel comfortable. So my goal has really been to kind of either stay where I'm at long term or find a company where I can be the title that I am and have my responsibilities and not have this push to be like elevated more and more and more and like be in charge as you get more senior. And I've been pursuing refereeing. So I'm working some college volleyball and they're really flexible and cool about that. So kind of doing both, I think, is where my goal is to kind of just keep my day job lawyering and work some cool college volleyball down the road and be traveling for that. I travel a lot and I travel with Ben. I go to like 50 basketball games a year. So yeah, it sounds lame because I thought like, oh, I'm going to be this hot shot partner at a firm, but I just really enjoyed not working.
Yeah. Okay. That ain't lame at all. That's the dream. Yeah. I feel that. Are you going to be a Midwest girly forever? Or if like your perfect scenario lined up somewhere out west or something, would you move out there?
I've told Ben I'm happy to go anywhere. I'd rather not go north. But his parents have a house in Florida, and if basketball took us to North Carolina or Georgia or somewhere there's a Delta hub, happy to do it. My sister's out in LA, and my brother's in Washington, out west.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm flexible. I'm happy to live half the year in Florida. So whatever. I thought someday I'd probably move out of Ohio, but if it worked out where I had a vacation house or a half the year house, that's fine too.
Yeah, I like that. Rewind a little bit. So before Wilker kind of, I guess, led you down the path you're on now, what was your original, I guess, goal? Where like when you were a little younger, like everyone, I want to be a basketball player, or I want to be a doctor, or whatever. What was your, I guess, plan before you took this one?
I was thinking about being a child psychiatrist or psychologist.
Oh, okay.
That was something kind of like pediatrician, whatever. That didn't pan out for me. I didn't realize that to go to be a psychiatrist, you have to go to medical school, and you can't just like only do psychiatry. You have to do like all of the medicine. I don't really do, I can't even watch like fake surgery on TV. Like the blood, no, not for me.
Yeah.
So that didn't really pan out. And I really liked animals, and the same problem to be a vet. You got to deal with it. So it worked out where I ended up where I'm at. There's no blood involved. So yeah.
Okay. I respect. You were way more mature than I am. I like that was your other, because I mean I don't even know if I had a goal in high school. I wish if I could go back, I would probably take things a little bit more serious at that time. But
Well, I mean, my grandparents are teachers, and my grandpa has told me my whole life that I was not allowed to be a teacher. And like, I feel like that's a very normal, like you see your parent, like my grandparents are both teachers. My mom's working for the post office. Like, I don't know, you kind of see and do, but then my whole life, I'm like, they're like, you can't be a teacher. You can't be a teacher. And so that was out immediately. And I feel like that's a normal one that people come up with when they're, in school. So I had to think outside the box.
that's fair. No, you're smart. You're smart. And I highly respect that you were somebody that were like, all right, I'm going to try to take the time to kind of still hang out with friends and kind of help keep my head on straight. Because there's some people, you'll see them walk around that are just totally high strung, stressed to the gills, because they're just work, school, study, and that's it. Like they don't take the time to unwind, and have a drink or two, or just have dinner. And so I think a lot of people should probably be a lot more like you, where it's just like, yeah, let off some steam instead of just letting it keep building to where, one day you just pop, like a Coke bottle, and that's no good. So
I
it's a
mean,
smart plan.
don't get me wrong. I could be getting a lot more money, like 4 times more money if I had stayed at the firm. I could be doing something, but I wouldn't have a life. Like I'm going to Florida on Friday for the weekend for fun. I wouldn't be doing that if I was still there. And I think that's kind of where my priority has always fallen, is like, I work to live, not live to work. So
Yeah. I wish it wasn't that way all the time. I wish it was just like, I wish I could have a lot of money and free time, but it doesn't seem to always work that way. It's like you have to work a lot to have a lot of money, or
Yeah.
find that sweet spot like you found yourself.
Hey, it's balanced, but
Yeah.
no, I do have to say too, when I was in law school, I did not think that I was like gonna be like, I thought I was gonna stay at the firm forever because that's all I knew once I kind of got the gig. But I was fortunate. I got a full ride to Toledo. So I didn't come out of law school with a bunch of debt.
Nice.
And I did really well. I was valedictorian in my class. Like, it all helped. Like, the work that I put in undergrad is definitely, or in law school, is definitely what helped me get to where I am now. Like, being able to go and have the job that I do now. I wouldn't have had it had it not been for like all of that work, all of that time, and then sort of all the work that I put in at the firm too. But so I can't just act like it was all fun. But
I mean, kudos to you. I mean, college was not for me. So
Yeah.
to know that you've like done multiple years outside of just getting your majors is incredible. And to everyone that's listening to this and has done that, round of applause, because I mean, I couldn't even finish my what's even before a bachelor's, like, what do they call that? Associates. Yeah. Like I think I'm like two or 4 credits away from like obtaining my associates in criminal justice. And I ended up getting a full-time job offer I couldn't really refuse at that point in time. So, and I was leaning towards not wanting to be criminal justice, because that was the time where, and still is really kind of, where cops are just hated and just have a target on your back. You don't make enough for any of that. So I was just like, yeah, this ain't for me. So,
well, we would have been the same. My undergrad and my master's are in criminal justice. So
yeah, I mean,
Look at
I
that.
learned just enough to like, if I get pulled over, I know
don't
my
say
rights.
anything. Call a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my rights. There's a couple professors that I can thank for that, where they like taught us some like behind the scenes, if you will, situations where it's like, all right, if this happens, then you do this, or like something simple, or like even give you a tip here. If you're driving down the road at night and you're speeding and you hit your brakes, apparently that is admitting to guilt. So of speeding, in a way. So don't hit your brakes. Just kind of cruise down a little bit. They can pull you over for admission to
Wow.
guilt.
The more you know.
So
But
yeah,
if we just play that little NBC with the little shooting star, the more you know. I had no idea. That's
yeah, hit your brakes is admitting to guilt to speeding. So that's enough to at least pull you over for a routine traffic stop.
wow. Okay. I don't really ever speed. I usually have children in the car. But next time I'm rolling, yeah.
And I guess
hitting the brakes.
to pair that up, going 10 over with children in the car, child endangerment.
And I'll use that too. But I didn't hit my brake, so I wasn't speeding. That holds up, right?
No. The answer that you always give is, do you know how fast you're going? No idea. I'm not telling you how fast I was going, even though I might know. I'm not going to admit to guilt. No idea, officer.
Why don't you tell me?
Yeah, what'd you say? What'd you get me at? I guess that's what I'm doing.
Before we jump back into Toledo talk, Bre, me and Dylan, on Memorial Day, we're gonna be in Cleveland because I'm not a humongous baseball fan, but I love Shohei Ohtani because I'm half Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
So just watching this guy ball out is awesome. Dodgers gonna be in town, so we're gonna be actually going to catch the Dodgers Guardians game in Cleveland.
That's awesome.
And we'll probably be down there for the afternoon. So I'm interested. What are some dope Cleveland spots? Maybe we should check out.
Okay, there's so many actually, but if you're gonna be downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on what kind of food you're in the mood for, or like if you're looking for like a bar, because I mean, my spot is Map Room. if I'm just like looking for bar food in a bar and a dive bar, their pizza is, I think it's some of the best bar pizza I've ever had. And that's like, it's a spot. But if you're looking for something like an actual culinary experience, there's a bunch of places on 4th that are really good. But I'm also just like a barrio girl. Like I love tacos and margaritas. So when I go back to Cleveland, I always run through barrio. I have to go there at least once. It's so good.
Respect.
I'm
She's all Cleveland sports fan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Confident. Yes. Actually,
Let's
go Cavs.
Go Cavs. Yeah,
Let's go.
absolutely. 100%. Like I was born in Cleveland Heights at that hospital there. So I can relate to the Kelsey brothers. I can relate to all that. And so I'm a Cleveland at heart, born there. But I probably only spent my first 2 years of my life there. And then my family moved for like job purposes or whatever. So,
of course.
But it always feels like when I go back to Cleveland, I'm walking around downtown, like that feels like home. It's like euphoric feeling, even though I've never like lived there or anything like that from like cognitive standpoint. So it's always good to go back. I'm looking forward to that experience. And like I was telling Bobby, looking forward to the food scene, the atmosphere, and catching my very first professional baseball game. So it'll be fun.
It's your first?
It'll be my first time going to a Guardians game. Yeah.
So. Oh, Guardians. Okay. Because I have a house in Tremont, but I used to live downtown, and my next door neighbor was Jose Ramirez. Like we shared a wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice tidbit there.
Got a picture with him. It was really cool.
Did you guys have like small talk sometimes, or?
So his English is like 8th grade level.
Yeah.
He does speak some English, but it's not as great. His wife, he had a baby shortly after, like the next season that I lived there, but she speaks better English usually. Like I would like see him and they would talk to my dog when I had a dog when I lived there. But yeah, it was really cool to live next door. And actually that was when Colin Sexton was the rookie for the Cavs, right?
Yeah.
And he lived upstairs. So yeah. And
that's awesome.
I got to do one more Cleveland sports plug. My next door neighbor at my house I live at was the former, I think she was like a running backs coach or something. Callie, she's like the first female football coach. She's my next door neighbor at my old house.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so big Browns, all Cleveland sports.
You hit a lot of games up?
Oh yeah, I think I would probably go to about 20, 25 Guards games a season. Browns games the one year I went to all of them but one.
Wow.
And actually I kind of made up for that one because I went to the game out in LA at the Chargers that same season. So
how was that experience in SoFi?
So my buddy was playing for the Chargers then, my friend from college. SoFi was like brand new. It was incredible. He gave us like he gave my sister and I like friends and family seats. So we were kind of in like the lower bowl. They're free. I had like a half shirt on. So I was wearing half Cavs, half Browns, or half Chargers, half Browns. Mm-hmm. It was real cool. And
awesome.
Yeah, it was a really fun experience. The Browns, of course, did not win. But
I think that's the game that the Chargers went for it on 4th down, Dylan. Remember that? And they got it. And then I'm pretty sure I remember watching that game.
It did not end favorably.
I can't remember right. Was that a barn burner of a game or a lot of offense?
I think so.
Yeah, we just couldn't.
There was a couple of plays where like they just threw it like 50-yard, bombs to receivers untouched.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
My friend from college is a offensive lineman he was for the Chargers. He played for the Chiefs, and then went to the Chargers, and now he's in the CFL. So it was fun to be there. I was glad that he was happy at the end of it. We went and got Mexican food after. So yeah.
Plus I went to LA once. That's actually when Jake Griff, he lived out there for a little while.
Oh yeah.
So me, Nick, and Alex Campbell went. This was like 10 years ago, but it was like 78 and blue skies every day. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think I can live there full time because it's just, everything's expensive. Taxes are crazy, but like to be there for like on
traffic.
A trip, unreal. It was awesome. I loved being out there.
And I got to say their tailgating is not even close to the Cleveland tailgating experience.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah.
Cleveland tailgating experience is unmatched.
That's all we got, really. It's like the day
Yeah, mini lot.
from like 5 a.m. to like 12:30. Great. 1 p.m. to 4. That's when it kind of goes downhill usually. But
When you're at the game.
tailgate.
Yeah. Yeah, I could thank Bobby for giving me my tailgate experience there with his connections and a whole RV situation that I got blamed for. That's an inside joke that never happened, Bobby. It
Yeah,
never did.
I brought him with me. We tailgated with Josh and Greg one of those
Of course.
Sundays, and yeah, that whole experience. Everything's A1, so it was fun. And I think that was the game. Tom Brady was in town, so it was
Yep.
it was pretty incredible.
Patriots.
Yep. Got to sit in the dog pound. Yeah, that was fun.
Gotta see the goat.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got to try to get up there, Dylan, before because once they build the new spot, ticket prices are going to be astronomical. So we got.
I'm still paying for it. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know. Of course. But yeah, you're back in Toledo.
Yep.
So hit us with some of your Toledo spot. I mean, you gave I think one or two a little bit earlier, but
Oh,
some of your Toledo
Hannon's
spots.
is my go-to spot, so I will shout them out anytime. Their food is, they have a tight menu, but it's because they do everything on it well. So that's my. But I really love Dirty Bird. We go to Dirty Bird for their wings. I think
They got great wings. Yeah.
they're top notch. Yeah, and we go to Wild Side a good amount. And obviously we hit up Ernest when it's open on the weekends and on game days and stuff. And then our next door neighbor owns Cock and Bull. So
nice.
Strolling into Cock and Bull on a random weeknight just to support local business. But yeah, I think that's kind of like our vicinity within that area. I'm not really a Chevy's gal, but I do like the new
out of that, I think.
Yeah, I do like the new what they've done to Table 44. They I don't know if you've heard about that, but they cut the second floor out in the middle and made it like a Nashville bar. So they've got like garage doors upstairs and stuff. So it's really cool. It's like a good spot to hang out. But yeah, it's funny that now leaving downtown is like inconvenient. Like, oh, I have to drive to Perrysburg or something. Oh. But because we have everything down here.
Yeah, for sure.
People
I haven't got to go yet because the hours are kind of, I think, weird. They're like open 3 or 4 hours a day, but people keep raving about Kato Ramen right there.
Oh yeah,
St. Clair, I think.
In his new spot, they've got like a chicken spot.
Yeah,
right
Japanese fry. Yeah, yep.
That's what I want to try.
I think they're open like 10 to 2 or something every day, which I'm usually working, but at some point I want to get up there and try because I keep hearing good things. But
I want to do the chicken spot. I've heard really good things. Like it just opened in the last like month or two, I think.
You mentioned pizza before. I think there's a place in downtown called Inky's.
Yeah, close to downtown. It's near. I would call that near downtown. But
near downtown, like on like kind of outskirts. I think I've been there once. It's pretty good if I remember right.
Oh yeah, Inky's is my grandpa's spot. He long time, like if we're getting pizza, it's Inky's or Gino's. So
can't go wrong.
Yeah,
with
both fire. Both fire.
I love Gino's.
When you're not going out to eat, Bre, what are the cooking skills like? Can you whip up something? Like what's your signature dish? I always like to ask people.
I'm more of a baker than a chef. But if I'm whipping something up, it's anything like pasta related. I'm like, you're not going to see me with like a steak, but yeah, I love to do like a sausage, like red sauce pasta. To me, that's, I don't know. It's a good balance of like healthy, but carbs. So, yeah, but I don't know. I like to bake. I just made I like making cookies and tiramisu and all that good stuff. So Ben's nephews are young, like they're like 6, 5, and 2. And so I love to like make stuff for them that they love because they love dessert, obviously. So that's kind of what I find fun is baking for them.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. What is the quintessential? All right, so this is the day where you're not doing any work. What is your perfect afternoon?
Oof. it's got to be nice outside, because the perfect is we have a back deck, because we live at what used to be like a restaurant. So we have like a huge back patio and a huge like back space. Sit on the deck, have a drink, enjoy the sun, and walk downtown to literally sit on the patio over at Cock and Bull or Dirty Bird and grab dinner and just hang out. Like, that is perfect to me. I'll read a book on the deck, just hang out.
I like that. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. Absolutely. But I got one more question for you, and then we'll get you out of here. And it is that, knowing what you know today, what is one thing you would tell your 18-year-old self?
Don't be dissuaded by the doubters and the negativity. I remember a lot of different people either saying like, don't bother going to be a lawyer, or don't bother, lawyers are a dime a dozen. Don't go do it. Like, you're going to make more money. When I was working at the can factory, I'd have people being like, I make more money than my lawyer friends. Like, don't bother. Like, just, it's a lot of work to come out and, make what a teacher makes, basically, is what people said. Even my grandpa was like, lawyers are a dime a dozen. Don't do it. But yeah, I remember there was a time where I kind of bought into that. Like, yeah, they're right. Like, that's a lot of time and a lot of effort. And what if I'm bad at it? Really worked out. I'm glad that I saw it through. If I had listened, kind of like, I don't even know where I would be right now. So, yeah, don't be dissuaded by voices, people talking at you that maybe don't know what they're talking about either.
That's a good answer. I respect
like
that
that.
answer a lot. I'm glad and it's worked out very well. So fuck you to all those, except your grandpa, of course.
Well, actually, my grandpa almost got a shout out in my valedictorian speech at graduation, and I was gonna say that exact line. Like, well, my grandpa said it best: lawyers are a dime a dozen. And when I told him I was gonna say that, I was kidding, because I didn't want to make him feel bad, right?
Right.
He was like, "I'll stand up and object." And yeah, I didn't do it, but it would have been pretty funny if I did.
Absolutely, that would be hilarious.
The objecting part would be.
Yeah, the person.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah.
Object.
One thing I love about the show that we do is it gives us a reason, to catch up with friends. You know what I'm saying, Bre? We've been friends for a long time. And obviously, you're doing everything you got going on. I got the kids and everything, so you don't always get to just kind of reconnect. But this gave us the excuse. Plus, I was very interested to kind of learn the ins and outs of what you do and how you got there. So, you seem to be very successful and happy. So that's great. I'm gonna definitely be reaching back out here in a few weeks when we start gearing up to hit the land.
Please
get those recommendations again. So we'll definitely have to hit one or two of those spots up for sure.
Absolutely.
But very much appreciate you giving us some of your time on a Sunday to come talk some shop with us. Dylan, you know what time it is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 204 in the books. Ladies and gentlemen, 204 is in the books. A great episode, a loaded episode at that. Be sure to go get your copy of Alex Davis's book. And Bobby, you would shoot that out again. Davis and Davis, correct?
Publishing.com.
Publishing.com. Yep. Davis and Davis Publishing.com. Be sure to go get your copy today. It goes towards a great cause of the canine cancer and everything like that. Bre, thank you so much for bringing or coming on and giving us some of your time. Seems like, Bobby, all these guests are just been great this season and always has been throughout all multiple seasons. But love the question that you asked at the end, where it's just what would they tell their 18-year-old self? And it's always not only great answers that we get, but you can always apply it to your own lives as well. Every time. And it just seems like all of our guests have more hours in the day because they accomplish so much in the same 24 hours that we're all given. So, Bre, you are no different, and we appreciate the time that you gave us.
Just don't waste 8 hours sleeping, right? Bre, you just stay up and
I think I'd still be asleep right now if I wasn't here, but hey, I earned that.
Me too, bro. I actually woke up about 20 minutes before recording, so It definitely it's a
Yeah, Dylan's
crazy
he's a
life.
third shifter, so
Yeah,
you
so-
know the struggle.
Yeah, I flip it differently on the weekends. I try my best to just completely flip my life on my sleep schedule
hard.
life on the weekends, and then switch it back to night shift owl on the weekdays. But yeah, you said you know exactly what I'm talking about, working those 12s at night. So I'm living that life right now. But thanks again,
Thank you.
Bre,
Thanks,
for
guys.
coming
It was
on.
fun.
It was a great fun time for sure, and definitely look forward to seeing those 216 recommendations later down the road. From myself and Bobby, everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us at all of our social medias and wherever you get your podcasts at TSP_2019. Have a good week, friends.